In Argentina, authorities registered at least 16 people dead and over 100 missing after the passing of a storm. In the port city of Bahia Blanca and other nearby cities, the water caused damages and left thousands of neighbors without essential services. Security forces intensified their rescue work, and donations from all parts of the country continue to arrive, while classes were suspended and the judicial recess remains in effect. On the other hand, parliamentary authorities criticized the conditioning of Javier Milei's government to help the administration of the province of Buenos Aires to face the catastrophe, after the chief of cabinet, Guillermo Francos, expressed that the reconstruction of the city is a matter only for the municipality and the province. Cabello pointed out that the territory of Guayana Esequiba belongs to the country by maritime law and recommended the government of Guyana not to interfere with Venezuela.
We will continue advancing because this is our territory. Everything on the east side of the Essequibo River belongs to Venezuela. And this generates rights in the sea. And this generates other rights. They have tried to provoke our armed force, the Guyanese army. The servile that they have from the ExxonMobil there as president, to provoke our armed force. They should remember that when they provoke this country, 200 years can pass and we don't give up. We don't give up, Mr. Employee of the ExxonMobil that governs Guyana. Don't mess with Venezuela. We don't mess with anyone,
In this context, the Secretary General of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, Diosdado Cabello, reiterated that President Nicolás Maduro paused communications with the United States after the suspension of the license to Chevron.
Well, the Venezuelan right wing, as we received these people as human beings, first they said that we are receiving them as heroes and that when they governed they were going to receive them as criminals. Let us remember how most of the Venezuelans arrived to the United States, through the Coyotes, all this opposition headed by Leopoldo López, Guaidó, by Carlos Vecchio, by Paparoni, by Pizarro, by Leopoldo López, by Julio Borges and by La Seona too. Because they are all linked, they are all brothers in violence. So now Venezuelans, all Venezuelans are bad. The United States made a decision to suspend Chevron's license and we say something is happening here, so we suspend everything. It was the president's decision because do you remember how this agenda started? What was the agenda? The zero agenda.
Donde la ExxonMobil además mueve muchos recursos, no es nuevo, movió muchos recursos en la campaña electoral pasada para apoyar al candidato del fascismo, que luego huyó del país cobarde como es, y movió mucho dinero para tratar de desestabilizar a Venezuela, aquellos días 29, 30 de julio, recuerdan ustedes.
Those days, the end of July, if you remember. Now they shot themselves on the foot by delivering this hit, Chevron, with the objective of doing harm to us. But I can tell you right now, they are not doing any harm to us because Venezuela is going to continue moving forward, and this year we're going to grow in all aspects of economy. The economy is going to continue growing, it's going to continue overcoming all difficulties, and it's going to continue overcoming all challenges, and will continue growing the hydrocarbons in general, because we're not talking only of oil. Hydrocarbons is more than just that. It's the concept. But my goal, our goal as a nation, is to break the dependency of the resources that come from hydrocarbons. That they are part of the national resource, but you have to arrive at a moment that the economy produces all the assets, all the goods, all the services to satisfy all the necessities of our nation without depending on the oil. The Executive Vice President of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, unveiled on Monday a document that evidences ExxonMobil's lobbying efforts against oil subsidiaries in the Latin American nation. In her remarks, Rodriguez informed that ExxonMobil paid a lobbyist to have Chevron expelled from Venezuela. Furthermore, the high official denounced how the company has been conspiring against the nation for over a decade in complicity with the government of Guyana, seeking to undermine its economic stability. In this regard, the executive vice president stressed that Guyana is not a victim, but a protagonist who has been playing its role against the Bolivarian nation. In addition, Vice President Rodriguez condemned the unilateral coercive measures imposed against the country with the aim of affect the oil sector, in spite of the negative consequences they would have on the Venezuelan population. Rodriguez also denounced the involvement of the opposition in this matter, which has done everything possible to damage the country's economy and stability.
These ideologists produced a document. That is this document. What was the purpose of this document? To influence the decision makers and the authorities of the United States administration in order to say that more sanctions not only, obviously, cause great economic suffering in the population, but also generate possibilities of regime change. If you see here, because they refer to something that is a lie, they say that a period of humanitarian measures in favor of Venezuela in the years 2016, 2020, 74% of the unilateral coercive measures against Venezuela are concentrated.
Likewise, the Venezuelan vice president denounced that in the event of any threat against any state authority, they will hold the U.S. company ExxonMobil responsible.
They are asking for more internal political pressure, more internal political pressure. What are they referring to? The coup d'etat? They are trying, incessantly, they have already tried, they are trying to undermine the territorial integrity of Venezuela, they have already tried. I denounce responsibly that if something happens to a high authority of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, I hold the ExxonMobil directly responsible for the plans it has against Venezuela.
Moreover, Rodriguez denounced that ExxonMobil paid to get Chevron Oil Company out of Venezuela.
It is a strategy paid by ExxonMobil. There is the evidence. Here it is. It is said by a former minister of Guyana. It is not said by President Nicolas Maduro, the Vice President, Diosdado Cabello, Jorge Rodriguez, no. It is said by the former minister who was the one who managed and negotiated the contract with ExxonMobil, who says there how he was paid, what he was paid for, and this document, in fact, to withdraw licenses to transnational companies, among them the most important one, an American company, Chevron, which has been in Venezuela for more than 100 years. This document was made by the same ideologists who intend to attack Venezuela in order to steal the oil that belongs to Venezuelans. The president has said